So when you're starting out, you can fall into the trap of gear slop, the need for endless camera gear, endless lenses, all the different things, and then in your head you feel like you'll get the shot that you want. But you don't need to. There's a way of learning where you will get the shots that you want, but also it'll end up actually being foundational to the way that you end up shooting and learn throughout this process. So I read this great article called Exertion. And it's an article that basically uses New York City's Lime bikes as an analogy for input versus output. And as you grow older, you learn that 100% of the input doesn't necessarily correlate to the same level as output. There's a whole lot of nuances and things to this article, but it's about making smarter decisions for the same level of output as someone riding a normal bike. But it basically started a bit of a thought process for what I was thinking about for this next video. And my thinking was that you should ride the normal bike first before you ride the electric one. Now, what does this have to do with camera gear? Well, basically what I was thinking that you should start out by riding the normal bike, which in this case is using a manual lens. Why? Because you need to understand what it takes to put 100% effort into just getting those shots in the moment when you're there. And a manual lens will help you do that. With a manual lens, you'll see what is a good shot, what's a bad shot, and also what's worth your time, because with a manual lens, you don't get really a second chance, and there's no one else there to save you but yourself. You are the person ultimately in control of what that shot is going to be. So shooting in manual is a great lesson for you early on that will only set to benefit you further down the line, and not relying on those, albeit amazing technologies, but they should be there as a tool. You should still understand what they're doing and how to use it properly if you need to. And then once you've mastered that lens and understand the output, then you should progress to a more expensive lens. And that lens normally having autofocus or, better focus pulling capabilities that you can connect to, a follow focus or things like that, but at least having put in the effort earlier on to do so. And so that's what I did. And that's how I ended up with this funky thing, which is my Canon FD 1.4 50mm attached to a SLR Magic anamorphic adapter. I've been shooting exclusively with this recently, actually, just because it's fun. I enjoy it. It's very nuanced. It's very old. I don't know if you can see that and like how scuffed that is, but this was, I think it was like £80 off eBay for the lens, and then the adapter was about $200-300, something like that. But compared to other anamorphic lenses, it's far cheaper, and in my opinion, I get amazing shots, and when it does work, it is fantastic. Obviously, it doesn't have autofocus and it's not as accurate as, say, a more modern lens, but for learning the process and how to frame, anamorphic wider shots and have a reason to use it, this lens has been so much more valuable. And then also now that I am just shooting for fun, it's all I'm shooting on. I leave my autofocus lenses for things like this and other work projects, but as it stands now, this is literally all I'm using and all I'm shooting on, and I'm not getting tired of it whatsoever. So yeah, but the funny thing about this lens is that it's dual focus. So not only do you have the regular focus ring here, but you've also got essentially two states of a near and a far. But this adapter is just as nuanced as the lens itself. So the way that it operates is far more tedious. So trying to get the focus on this one and this one is quite difficult, but the shots that I get as soon as I put it on the timeline and de-squeeze it, go through that process and grade it, I'm always just blown away with how much I can get out of this just little cheap setup. So yeah, I guess to round it all out together, it's just go out and find that cheap lens, whatever that may be. Old Canon FD lenses are great. You can get adapters that fit them to Sony's or Nikon or whatever you're shooting on, or find old Helios lenses that have the squirrels. The bokeh that you get out of this is super fun and really, really nice. So I love shooting on that for stills and video. But yeah, just go get something unique and random that you can play with and build up that skill set, so that once you get to those bigger lenses, you know what you're doing and you don't have to rely on autofocus like so many other shooters out there. So yeah, another video done. I'll catch you on the next video.